Have you ever met someone who seemed kind? Warm smile, soft tone, polite words, but still, something felt off. You couldn't quite explain it, but deep down, something in their presence made you feel uneasy. Not in an obvious way. More like a quiet hesitation inside you, as if a part of you was sensing something that the rest of you hadn't caught up to yet. We tend to dismiss these moments. We call them overthinking, or paranoia, or just a bad mood. But what if those feelings weren't mistakes? What if they were signals, early signs that a person's outer behavior didn't quite match their inner truth? 1. Why 10 seconds matter. They say first impressions happen fast, within milliseconds, long before we're even aware of it. But what we often miss is just how much truth is contained in those first few moments. The way someone walks into a room, how they look at you, how they carry their body, the tone they use when they say hello. These things reveal more than an entire conversation sometimes can. It's not about being suspicious or reading too much into things. It's about noticing the patterns. Because in those 10 seconds before someone fully switches on their best self, their guard is still partially down. That's when the most honest signals appear. Not in their words, but in their posture, their micro-reactions, the subtle way they occupy space. Character isn't something people invent on the spot. It's something they bring with them, everywhere they go. And if you train your awareness, those first few seconds can tell you whether someone's presence feels grounded or performative, sincere or calculated. You don't need to judge, but you do need to observe. And when you do, you start seeing things most people miss, until it's too late. 2. The eyes tell you first. They say the eyes are the windows to the soul, but more accurately, they're windows to attention, to presence, and sometimes to hidden intentions. When you first meet someone, their eyes often speak before their mouth ever does. Are they fully with you or scanning the room for something or someone else? Do they meet your gaze with calm steadiness, or do they seem to calculate, to measure, to control? Some people hold eye contact not to connect, but to dominate. Others avoid it, not out of shyness, but out of discomfort with honesty. The difference is subtle, but once you begin to notice, you can't unsee it. Real presence doesn't demand attention, it invites it. And people with genuine character usually don't need to overperform with their eyes. They simply look at you, not through you. So when something feels off in the eyes, it often is. And while you may not be able to explain it logically in the moment, your body already knows. That small tightening in your chest, that tiny spike of alertness, it's your intuition trying to speak. 3. The tone beneath the words. What a person says can be carefully chosen, but how they say it often isn't. That's why tone matters. Sometimes a kind sentence can carry coldness. A compliment can feel like control. A friendly joke can leave behind the sting of something unspoken. We're taught to listen to words, but character hides in delivery. Is their voice rushed, like they're trying to convince you? Is it overly polished, rehearsed, like they've said the same thing 100 times before? Or maybe there's tension behind the softness, a sharpness behind the calm. These things don't scream at you, they whisper. But those whispers reveal far more than surface-level charm. A person who speaks with sincerity doesn't need to impress or perform. Their tone is steady, grounded, natural. It flows with them, not ahead of them. So the next time someone says something nice, but you feel an invisible weight behind it, pay attention. Your body hears what your ears haven't caught yet. 4. Micro-reaction test. Sometimes the most honest thing a person says isn't said at all. It happens in a flicker, The brief moment right after you share something vulnerable or even something simple about yourself. Maybe you mention a difficult week, a small personal detail, a memory. And in that moment, watch their face. Do their eyes soften? Do they pause and stay with you? Or do they look past it, rush to respond, or redirect the focus back to themselves? That split-second micro-reaction is one of the purest signs of someone's emotional availability. People who are truly empathetic don't need time to prepare a response. They're already tuned in. They hold space for your words, even the small ones. But when someone's response feels too quick, too calculated, or too uninterested, that's often a sign that they're not really listening. They're waiting for their turn. The micro-reaction test doesn't require confrontation. It just requires presence, because the way someone reacts when nothing big is at stake tells you exactly who they are when it is. 5. The hands and feet are honest. We're trained to watch faces, smiles, eye contact, expressions, but those can be practiced, even rehearsed. What most people don't realize is that the truth often hides in the parts of the body we forget to control, the hands and the feet. When someone's words sound composed, but their fingers fidget constantly or their hands tighten without reason, pay attention. When their feet angle away from you mid-conversation, even as their smile stays fixed, there's a story beneath the performance. The human body doesn't lie, it reflects what the mind tries to conceal. Someone grounded in authenticity doesn't need to grip the air or shift their weight every few seconds. Their posture is calm, their gestures natural. But when a person is masking discomfort, dishonesty, or even subtle contempt, the tension leaks through. A tapping foot, a clenched jaw, a forced stillness that feels more like restraint than peace. These small signs may not shout, but they echo. And once you start noticing them, you'll begin to trust not just what you see, but what you sense. 6. Respect for the unseen people. If you really want to understand someone's character, don't watch how they treat you. Watch how they treat the people they don't need. The waiter, the cleaner, the delivery driver, the stranger on the street. These moments may seem insignificant, but they reveal everything. When there's nothing to gain, no reputation to protect, and no audience to impress, how someone chooses to behave shows you who they truly are. Do they say thank you? Do they make eye contact? Do they acknowledge others with warmth? Or do they act as if those people don't exist? You see, kindness isn't tested in grand gestures. It's tested in quiet interactions where the world isn't watching. And the truth is, people who carry real empathy don't turn it on and off depending on status or usefulness. They live in it. It's part of how they move through the world. On the other hand, when someone dismisses, belittles, or ignores those who can't offer anything in return, it often points to insecurity masked as superiority. It's not confidence, it's compensation. And the irony is, the people who treat the unseen with the most dignity are often the ones who carry the most strength inside. So next time you're unsure about someone, don't focus on how they treat you. Focus on how they treat the people they think don't matter. 7. The energy they carry. Sometimes you meet someone who does everything right on the surface, smiles, says all the polite words, even makes you laugh. But when they leave, you feel strangely tired, drained, as if something was taken from you, without anything obvious being said or done. That feeling isn't random. It's not about the conversation. It's about the energy they brought into the room. Every person carries an emotional frequency, and whether they realize it or not, they're constantly communicating through it. Some carry calmness, others carry chaos. Some leave you feeling more grounded, others leave you second-guessing yourself. We often dismiss these feelings because they're hard to explain. But your body knows before your mind does. The tightening in your stomach, the sudden heaviness in your chest, the way you instinctively want to create distance. Those aren't overreactions. They're your inner wisdom trying to protect you. And the more you learn to recognize that energy, the less time you'll spend trying to make sense of people who were never really safe to begin with. 8. You don't need to judge, just observe. This isn't about becoming suspicious of everyone you meet. It's not about analyzing every move or assuming the worst in people. It's about learning to trust what you feel and giving yourself permission to pause. You don't need to judge. You don't need to react. All you need to do is observe. Let people show you who they are, not through their words, but through their patterns, their choices, their energy when no one's watching. Because the truth is, most people tell you exactly who they are very early on. We're just not always ready to believe them. We try to give the benefit of the doubt. We fill in the gaps with hope. We explain away the signs. But character isn't something that magically changes over time. It either deepens with consistency or unravels under pressure. And if you're quiet enough, present enough, and honest enough with yourself, you'll see it, you'll feel it, and you'll start making decisions that protect your peace before anything threatens it. If something in this video resonated with you, if you've ever ignored a quiet warning, trusted too quickly, or stayed too long in the presence of someone who left you feeling small, just know this: you're not alone. We've all been there. But the beauty of awareness is that once you learn to see, you can't unsee. You begin to choose differently, with more clarity, with more calm, and with a lot more self-respect. If you found this helpful, consider subscribing to Mindful Sphere, where we explore the quiet truths that help you move through life with wisdom, strength, and peace. And if this message reminded you of someone, a friend, a loved one, maybe even your younger self, feel free to share it. Because sometimes all it takes to protect your future is understanding what your intuition already knows.